Hi, this is Anna Hackman from Green Talk, and we're planting potatoes today. Usually I wait till about 2 weeks before frost date. You can look at your frost dates on several places, but be conservative. I tend to go on the conservative side because we've had some really cold springs. I'm zone 6, and the last thing you need to do is have potato seeds that you paid for and they rot. And people are really eager beavers when it comes to planting potatoes. I wait. You know, they are a cool weather plant, but they're not a wet weather plant. So this is what I do. I use potato bags. I'm going to show you all my potato bags. I use a lot of them. I use them for my sweet potatoes and as well as my potatoes because I don't want to use up my beds. And I find that they really work great in the potato beds. I mean, in the potato bags. But caveat, do not, and I repeat this, do not overstuff your potato bags. I've done it so many years and I always wonder why I don't get this huge yield. Well, it's because I overstuff my potatoes. Now, I'm using Yukons. I happen to like Yukon potatoes. I did a video before this that talked about how to cut them. I didn't need to cut them because, as you can see, these potatoes are pretty tiny. They're pretty tiny. And Yukons tend to be on the tiny side. That you don't really get big Yukons, but that's fine because I like their buttery flavor. But if you go on any of the seed companies, the organic seed companies, they have a lot of varieties. I have planted blue. I was pretty not impressed with the blue ones. The flowers, of course, were magnificent, but the yield wasn't great. But you know what? It may not be that you care that you get a huge yield or you don't mind small potatoes. I didn't like them, so I stuck with Yukons. I know that's what my family eats. So let's look at the bag. I'm going to stand up a second so you can see it. You want to do, and this is a smart bag. It's a pretty big smart bag. It's not a teeny one. I can't tell you the circumference of it, but I got it at Gardener Supply, and I'll put the link down below so that you can order them yourselves. What's great about these versus buckets is it wicks away the water, and I found when I've used buckets in the past, sorry about the airplane, we're in a pretty heavy airplane zone. I find when you use regular containers, they dry out quicker, they don't do as well. That's just my impression. I really, really like these bags because I like how they wick away the water. So what you want to do is, I'm only planting 4 this year, which is like a miracle for me. I tend to plant like 8, saying, oh, it won't take. And I do kind of I'd say square. So you see there's 1, 2, 3, 4. And you want to put in your smart pots about 1/3 of compost and soil mixture, and then about 1/2 cup of fertilizer. I use an organic fertilizer, Dr. Earth. I love it. And I mix it all up, and then you want to cover these up about 2 to 3 inches. Now what will happen is they will grow up like this. See my hand, how it's up like this? When they get to about 6 inches, you want to go ahead and cover them again up to their necks. And as they keep growing, you want to keep covering them. That's what they call a hill system. So if you want to do them in your beds, you can. You just have to dig a deep trench, like a 6-inch trench, to have to hill them up, or you're going to have to hill them up with mulch. I have never done that. I tend to be more of a soil person, but you can do that. Now, another thing, too, is the farther you plant them away, the more yield you'll get, believe it or not. So if you're going to do them in your beds, I will put a link down below. I'll write an article about how to plant them in your beds as well as the smart pots, and follow those directions because people just tend to plant things so much closer than they need to, and it doesn't always work. So here I'm going to do this. I'm going to go ahead and cover these guys up. If you notice, I did the eyes up. See how the eyes are right here? I'll just take this one out. This one has a few things, so you could plant it either like this, or you could plant it like this. I think I'll plant it like this because it's got 3 eyes. Now, if it has more than 3 eyes, I would tell you to cut it and let it cure a couple days in your house. So it gets a little tough because the worms and whatever gets in the bacteria could just like eat it alive and rot it out. So that's one of the reasons I like Yukons, because they tend to be small and I don't have to cut them. So I'm going to cover it up. So cover them all up. Right here. The soil's already moist because I already did that. I got it a little moist a couple days before so that everything was good. And then I'm going to go ahead and plant 5 bags. And I get a pretty good yield. I get maybe 20 pounds, maybe more. I don't know how much I get. I've never really weighed them, and I know that's been a question asked in one of my other potato bag articles. So I guess this year I'll weigh them to tell you how I do, so I didn't screw it up this year with only planting 4. So they are a cool weather plant, so just keep your eye on them, because when it gets really hot, like if over 90 degrees, they don't like it. So the minute that these get big enough, I'm going to mulch them, and they're not really in, as you can tell, I'm going to move back. They're in sun, but they're not in full sun. So, if you're in a much warmer climate, you should be planting these a lot earlier, or waiting till later in the season. Some people, even in my zone, will plant them in July because they work around the Colorado potato bug, which is it's gross, but they work around, and it's kind of gone by July. So or found some other place to hang out. So I'm actually may try that this year. I did it one year, but my potatoes were too old, and I chalked it up to them being too old. So I might try that as an experiment, and we'll see how that goes. So this is Anna Hackman from Green Talk, and let me know if you grow your potatoes in potato bags and what kind of tricks that you have to make them successful. And comment below, share on Facebook and Twitter, and like always, sign up for my free newsletter. Thank you so much for watching.